It's a bad time for golf fans, but those who live for the gossip of it all are living the life right now. We're talking about the famous Cameron Smith joining the LIV League. Remember how everyone knew it was going to happen, how some people still wished it wouldn't, but let's forget all that and just collectively give the award for stealing the moment to Cameron Percy. Turns out Smith hasn't forgotten that either. First off, Smith isn't responding to any of his calls. What happens when someone betrays you? You ghost them. Cameron Smith knows this, and that's what he's doing. Pro golfer Percy mentioned recently that the world number 2 hasn't been responding to any of his calls or messages. Let's rewind back to last month to see how things got so bad. First of all, the fairly obvious reason here is that both our cams are on opposite sides of this tug of war in this new golfing landscape that means you immediately have beef. Add to that a little bit of ratting the other out, and there you go. Now you have a whole live cow between you mooing the living daylight out of any leftover courtesies. Percy's guilty of the ratting out part. To be fair, it did no harm to the fans when he basically broke the news of Cam Smith joining the LIV League before it was official. Like, yes, give us the tea from the inside, sir. But see, when you're a rival league to PGA and you've lured in a young star golfer and you're trying to soft launch this addition to your ranks, it's a bit of a bummer when someone just drops the bomb before your big announcement. It seems like it was a stab in the back for Smith too, the way Percy just went on the radio and announced he and Leishman were, quote, gone. But he did turn then and said back to the PGA Tour, so it's a fair game we suppose. Moving on, let's revisit Cam Smith's earlier response. Listen, just because he's not returning Percy's calls doesn't mean he hasn't made his anger clear, right? He's a chill Aussie lad, sure, but he's got a mullet and an attitude too. The word of his defection to the Saudi-backed league hit the streets ages ago. In a recent couple of months, though, the rumors started getting more serious. This is when we saw another side of this man. The side that tries not to answer questions directly, and look, he's a great golfer, no doubt, but he needs to do some serious work on his diverting questions department. It was after Cam Percy gave the bombshell interview that Smith could no longer get away with not directly addressing the drama. This was before the FedEx Cup, and he got a bit serious when the interview was mentioned. He said he was a man of his word and that if there ever was an important announcement about his career choices, we'd hear it from Cameron Smith, not Cameron Percy. So yeah, the clash of the cams has been out there. Each cam is not a big fan of the other now, so why exactly is Percy trying to contact him? Well, we don't know that yet. But if he manages to get some tea, the snacks are on us. You know what? This also shows how serious the drift in the golfverse really is. Cameron Percy said that before all this had happened, you could still see each other after a disagreement and sort stuff out, but now that's impossible. He talked about how Smith and Leishman can't be seen anywhere, and of course, they're ghosting him too. Up next, let's see why it was such a poorly kept secret. Sure, the Australian pro spoke his mind on the radio, but in all honesty, he isn't entirely to blame for leaking this information about Smith and Leishman. The cat was out of the bag for so long, it lived a full life and was chilling by the pool at its retirement home when Percy told us these golfers were gone. First, there was speculation that a deal of $140 million was signed between the world number 2 ranked player and Greg Norman's league, and get this, absolutely no one denied the rumor. Okay, we'll let that carelessness slide, but then what about the sheer negligence when it came to media training the Aussie star? He was out there saying things like, I don't want to talk about it, I don't know anything. Mind you, all responses were awkward, lined with just enough anger to make him look dangerously suspicious. Alright, let's look past even that, but how can we ignore the congratulations post that Norman posted on Instagram when Smith won the Open Championship? Remember what he wrote in the caption? You're in good company. And if there's one thing we know, it's that Norman doesn't consider the PGA Tour good company at all. So yeah, Percy was right when he said recently that he didn't really break any news. Everyone knew where they were going. It was just a matter of time. There you go, the LIV Golf managed to get their biggest star yet, and for better or worse, it was the most anticlimactic thing ever. So if anything, Percy deserves the credit for bringing in the much-needed spice to this drama. Following up, let's talk about what it means for the LIV Golf. Alright, it's all in the past now, except for Percy's opposition to the LIV League and Smith's refusal to talk to him, of course. The point is that the Saudi-backed league has the biggest player they've managed to get until now, and he's already made his debut in the Boston event. You probably know what that means, right? It means that the Rebel League has proved it's here to stay. Sure, their start was a bit shaky, but it seems that they've gotten where they wanted to be. There's no doubt how confident they are about their future in golf because they've already announced announced a much more ambitious schedule for next year. Greg Norman already had quite a lot of big names on his side. Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, and Patrick Reed, for example. But none of them are the current top-ranking golfers. Also, no offense to anybody, but none of them are so young either. And these were the jabs the anti-LIV people were throwing at them. With Smith, though, things have changed. He's young, he has a long promising career ahead of him, and he's currently the second best golfer on the planet. He ended 4th in his Boston debut event and still made $1.5 million for it. Compare that with the most recent PGA Tour event prizes money now, $1.9 million. So yeah, Smith being as popular as he is and receiving heavy Saudi paychecks must have given him some confidence to the other ambitious golfers out there to do the same. All in all, it's definitely a win for LIV Golf. Lastly, let's take a look at the PGA Tour side of things. LIV's recent win doesn't mean the feud's over, and it's time for the Tour to pack its bags. The PGA Tour fighting back, and they're doing a good job too. The Rebel League must have won the battle, the OG Tour wants to win the war. They've been raising their purses, which is sure effective, but look, it's oil money on the other side combined with flexible schedules, so they needed to do something else too, and they have. Big names like Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, who are loyal to the tour, must have been campaigning right and left to convince golfers to stay, and this is working surprisingly well. Take Cameron Young, for example, the young American runner-up of the Open Championship this year. Young revealed that he was tempted to join the Saudi Finance League because of the schedules and, of course, the money. Guess what made him change his mind? The meetings that were held by McIlroy and Woods. The PGA players believe that joining the new league for money might seem like a good trade right now, but in the long run, it's a loss for the careers of young players. And it seems like they're doing a pretty good job at convincing some golfers of this. The game is still pretty much on. Now in other news, first up, Smith says there's injustice. Cam Smith recently spoke about the fact that LIV golfers don't get world ranking points. As of now, he has an exemption, but he could soon lose it. He said it's unfair that these guys are not getting ranking positions because they're some of the best players out there. LIV Golf has been trying to get ranking points for their players, but so far, no luck. Smith hopes soon this will change. Next, LIV Golf in shorts. Recently, Greg Norman announced that players will be allowed to wear shorts during the competition. Whether or not players should be allowed to wear shorts in hot weather was a debate going on for a long time on the tour, but over there, shorts can be worn only during practice. At LIV, though, you'll now see golfers rocking shorts during the game as well. Finally, LIV might be going to Australia. Norman has long waited to take his league to his home country, and now it seems like it might happen soon. The NSW government is warming up to the LIV League and is ready to have talks about hosting events. We might see LIV in Australia next year. That's a wrap for this video. How do you think the addition of Cam Smith will affect the Saudi-backed tour? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.